Hello, my name is Matt. Welcome to Unbearable 73. Okay, it's time to review Season 1, Episode 1 of Obi Wan Kennobi. I'd be more enthused for this series if the end leak were basically Obi-Wan lets someone who knows who Luke is, someone who knows who Luke is, who's been evil for a long time, and Riva go knowing who Luke is and where he is, and then she goes to Vader and pretends to cover for them, and then he gets killed. So she becomes the real hero of the story. Okay? This is a full spoilers review. Disney Star Wars has sucked so bad, except for Season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian. And I know that's controversial. Some people hate that too, but I'm willing to be objective. And I enjoyed the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. I thought it was a change. You know, I thought that we were going to get, at least on a TV show level, like a different continuity type of thing. And then Season 1 of The Book of Boba Fett comes out, which was horrifically bad. It was so bad that they canceled it in the middle of it and decided to use footage from Season 3 of The Mandalorian to finish it out. Anyway, and there's one page of the Darth Vader comic series. That was 25 issues. There's one page that's actually pretty awesome. So two seasons of Mandalorian and that one page of Darth Vader miniseries, the Darth Vader regular series. That's the only good Disney Star Wars they produced. So I don't really give a care about spoilers anymore. So if this is a full episode spoiler, all these reviews for this show will be. Now I'm going to prepare you for my review. I'm going to say the episode wasn't bad. Like it wasn't comically bad or like, oh my god, bad. It was like a 5 out of 10. It was kind of like if you had never seen any Star Wars before and you watched this, you'd be like, okay, maybe I'll check the second episode out. You know. Unfortunately, I have a feeling this is as good as it's going to get. So I usually do these TV reviews. I do like a kind of production review where I talk about like how the behind the scenes stuff worked with certain events. And then at the end, I do a sort of plot review. I talk about plot holes and writing and some writing issues with the plot and so forth. You know, so visuals. Looks like well-crafted canned Star Wars, at least on the Disney level. Unfortunately, it's more Star Wars on a desert planet. Standard Star Wars shots and so forth. You've seen this before. You've seen The Mandalorian or The Book of Boba Fett or the Disney trilogy. You know. Direction. I will say the director does well with the transitions. There's a lot of them in this. A lot of it's like this episode is made up of maybe I want to say more than 20 or 30 very short scenes rather than several longer scenes. You know, and the scenes do kind of flow in a sense you feel that they're in the right order. You know, when flashbacks occur, you know they're flashbacks and so forth. The writing. I'll be talking about the writing and the plot part, but just start with it. What idiot writers thought that a 10-year-old child could successfully raise professional kidnappers? This is from the production end. This is 5 minutes of wasted screen time. Why I was stupid, I will get to the bottom. I will talk about later. Likewise, Leia has another scene where she shows a 10-year-old the vocal and intellectual capabilities of a 20-year-old. Again, more on that later. But I'm talking about from the bad. It was bad writing in a sense. Like they should have caught that in writing and said, "We got to tone this down and change this up a bit." You know? So, and in the comic book, they used to call it writing-induced stupidity and plot-induced stupidity. And yes, they're doing it properly for woke reasons. Okay? On the positive signs, there are a couple of good short scenes. That's why I gave it kind of like a 4 or 5 rating. When Obi-Wan was spying on the farm and seeing Luke pretending to be flying or possibly pod racing, I liked that short scene. It was a throwback to when you first met Anakin. You know, the pod racing, the Luke wanting to fly, that sort of, you know, that kind of, and you could see Ewan McGregor acted that scene very well for the short scene that it was. I loved Obi-Wan's interaction with Owen, particularly the scene where Owen returns a toy that Obi-Wan had gotten Luke, and they had a discussion where Owen states that he needs to train Luke. Luke shows signs of using the Force, and Owen throws Anakin and killed in Obi-Wan's face. Obviously, Owen does not know that Vader is Anakin, so to speak. The first scene with Leia and her mother was a nice moment, and even though it started completely stupid, and I'll talk more about later, the end of that scene where the Grand Inquisitor reined in Reva, you know, I like that little bit of throw in there, you know. And if they had done that whole scene to show that the Grand Inquisitor was a badass who can keep this loose cannon under control, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like if we were tight, and I'll talk more about it later because it's just, you know. So I want to get to my production review here. On the acting, the standout in this episode, and honestly, he deserved better than he got, was Joel Edgerton as Owen Lars. Joel Edgerton as Owen Lars, who's Anakin's stepbrother. So if you remember the plot of the prequel trilogy, for some stupid reason, even though they're a perfectly fine ship, which they decide to leave Padme in slavery, even though they're Jedi, and they could, oh yeah, we'll buy the kid, and it just, the woman is not your concern anymore, and just have her walk away with them to the ship, and no problem then, and then mail some money to the dude later, when they get back to all, of course they can't win, they all have bajillions of credits sitting around, No, anyway, so not Padme, Anakin's mother, Shmi, I said Padme. So Shmi eventually marries, another guy who is Owen, I forget something Lars, who is Owen's father. So Anakin is his stepbrother, and that's the connection there. And Joel Edgerton does a great job, in my opinion. Okay, he's bitter. He played him as bitter about losing Anakin and the whole scenario. Well, he never really knew it. Well, and bitter about obviously the way it all broke down, and then protective of Luke. I enjoyed that part. Yeah. I enjoy when a father figure is protective of the child in general in a proper way. Special effects. Something's wrong with the filming of this episode. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose with the palette or the tone, but like if you go back and watch The Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, which takes place on the same planet, right on Tatooine, or even go back to the prequel trilogy and look at the coloring of Tatooine with the sand and all that, and then look at it in this. Something is just off. It just looks faded, like they deliberately, kind of like how they did what they did to Henry Cavill in Man of Steel, where his suit's actually much brighter. They just toned it down with some of the color palette to make the whole thing more depressing. Stupidly, there's a cutout there where some dude undoes that, and it makes Man of Steel like a whole order of magnitude better. But you can see it especially when they do the flashbacks and you see the palette and color tones of the film versus the show, and like even when you're looking at Obi-Wan, like he doesn't look, he looks like when you have different color of lighting and you're filming something, you see skin tones look different, that type of thing. Sound and audio, it's standard Disney Star Wars fare. So let's talk about the plot. I don't want to make this like a 20-minute review if I can avoid it. I'm going to do all 5 episodes. So I'll start with the BS. The show is supposed to be about what Obi-Wan did between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. This started out as a movie when Lucas still owned it, okay? And Ewan McGregor was all in. He loves Obi-Wan the character and wanted to do it. Now, I don't know if he still is enthused about being forced basically to complete his contract for this one season, but if there's no season 2 of Obi-Wan, I would not be shocked, okay? So he's supposed to be protecting Luke and so forth, right? Maybe engaging in training, maybe helping an early rebellion. Those are the kind of things I could see in this show, okay? So fine. He's also down. You can kind of get that. But the Force is a thing. Obi-Wan's a Jedi master. He had the thing with Anakin, but the Force, he should know he's in the right. The Force should be saying, you're in the right place now. You're protecting young Skywalker. You're fulfilling your role in events. He should not be as down as he is, okay? Not 10 years later. Maybe for a few months afterward, yeah. But not 10 years later. He should be back in a sort of Zen Jedi place again. Now, and also, again, Obi-Wan protecting Luke, right? We literally have like one scene with Luke. I'm not sure Luke even spoke a line in the whole movie. Next, Reva is a horrible character and not in a good way. I mean, I can't even blame the actress or wokeism. You can't even get to the problems of woke with the character because the writing is so freaking horrible. The Emperor wants to impose order and discipline, the Sith way, not the laid-back Jedi way of dealing with things and balance. He wanted to impose his iron will on the galaxy and the Force. Okay? And part because he wanted to live forever in the original canon, but now he just is whatever. Okay? Rigid discipline and order are part of the Emperor's way, right? How did Reva get to the position she's in being that undisciplined? There's no explanation for that. She would have either been chipped like just the clone troopers to turn off our emotions, or just cut down because she's a failure of self-discipline. Okay. The scene in the bar where the Grand Inquisitor is using wordplay and body posture to increase the tension in the room so they can sense the Jedi and draw him out. All right. The Jedi, everyone else in the room was getting tense and fearful. The Jedi will be using the Force to remain calm, so he's not noticed. So the Sith way knows that about the Jedi, so they're exploiting that, right? Reeve out of nowhere, you see a focus on her face with what are you doing? Like wasting his time, like deliberately undercuts. Now, not so much to the people in the room because they don't see that flash of her face. They're being fearful. But remember, we're the audience watching this. So when they show that face, they undercut the Grand Inquisitor as a character, okay? And then she goes and throws a dagger at some dude. Says, I'll burn the Jedi out. What if the Force guided the Jedi to let the dude die because he was more important for the Jedi to live, right? Or what if he does something where he, instead of just stopping the dagger, has all the tables in the room crash into the ceiling, and knocking the dagger and everyone down, and then it disappears before they can even confront him, or tons of other options a Jedi who can use Force telekinesis could have done, right? And then she basically. They get the Jedi Nari. His name is Nari, and she goes and they're trying to. They want to capture him for interrogation, right? So out of nowhere, Hulk Reva decides she's going to cut him in half. Now, the scene where the Inquisitor stopped her and disciplined her. If she had been disciplined for the rest of the show, I said, okay, they're showing she's a young hothead and he's a Sith Inquisitor. He's going to shut her down and control. If that were the trend of the series, where she's learning to be evil, and then she builds up her discipline and winds up confronting Obi Wan at the end, Obi Wan kills her, I'd be cool with that. Okay, but that's not what that is. They're basically setting him up as holding Reva back, because we see repeatedly this happening again, where Reva is getting away with her aggressive, out of control, on Sith-like ways. She's getting things done, and she repeatedly gets held back by her other Inquisitor partners. Yeah. I'm going to stop here because I'm going to claim her character every episode. Okay. Now again, Kid Leia. They're propping the Kid Leia up for woke reasons. So writer-induced stupidity here, right? She's too smart and too savvy, right? So let's say she is that, right? She's really smart and savvy as a kid. Then she's physically capable of eluding professional kidnappers that we learn Reva later hired in the woods for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes of wasted scenes. As soon as they surround her and she run, you can see these guys not able to keeping up with a 10-year-old. It's crazy. And also, this is Bail Organa. Why does he have 2 security guards in this whole place and they don't follow the little kid running over? What if there's a bear in the woods, right? Or a star bear, or whatever you want to call it in Star Wars, a Wukawa bear, that can eat little kids. They just let Leia play. And this is in our real world, a 10-year-old playing in the woods would have a gun. They'd be trained that, like living in a rural area or whatever. If either you're gonna have bodyguards if you're rich, or you're gonna be like a kid in a city where you have police patrol in the park or the woods, or you're gonna be in a country where you're taught to use a gun from a young age. There's gonna be protection out there. Who's protecting them from the wildlife? Or they just kill them all off, right? Or what if she's running in the woods with no one near her and she falls down a slope and breaks her neck? And here, the writers of this crap episode, it's not a 5 out of 10. I'm knocking it down to a 3 out of 10. Just because I'm thinking of the stupidity of how they depicted this poor kid, okay? And the kid actress did a good job of what she was given. I think this kid actress has talent. I'll say it right now, okay? Stuart Beattie, Hussein Amini, and Joby Harold think it's like this. Hey guys, let's write this like this kid is Naruto. 10-year-old Naruto, who's the product of 1,000 years plus of shinobi breeding. He's physically superhuman by the time he's 10 years old. Okay, you can see Kid Naruto jumping up to roofs and things like that without even having chakra training, right? And then let's write this kid like Leia's Naruto and we can elude the Ambu guards or whatever. I mean, come on. You're stupid, but you should at least know better. He's one of the writers for 30 Days of Night and several other products. You've seen it, were decently well written. And the other guy, I know Joby Harold has also written some other products, but not. Anyway, another thing. Why doesn't Obi-Wan have money? Leaving aside the Jedi probably had like gajillions of credits stashed away on Coruscant, and there was time on Coruscant for Obi-Wan and Yoda to get quite a bit of money and put it in their little pouches and carry it into exile with them. Okay, Bail Organa was there, and he knows what Obi-Wan is. Why didn't he send him 1,000,000 credits that Obi-Wan could bury in the desert? He could have hit if no one could like. And then I just reminded another stupidity. Okay, Obi-Wan buried his and Anakin's lightsabers in the desert, not even like 3 feet down or whatever. How are Jawas not going to find that? Or how is a sandstorm not going to blow it over? He should use the Force to level like a metric ton of sand, put it in a rock tomb or whatever, so you can't possibly find the thing unless you deliberately know what you're looking for. All right? And he could have hit credits down there too. More writing-induced stupidity, I left at the part where Reva basically hung the Jedi's body in the Nari that they apparently caught and killed, hung him like in the town, the terrorized the town. Why would the Inquisitor let him get away with that? It's not like the people hiding the Jedi. They didn't know he was a Jedi. The Inquisitor's not stupid. He's supposed to be disciplined. The Emperor wants order, he wants fear, rule through fear, but he wants order too. This episode smacks of a trend where they had no reason for the plot to come to the way they did. Like we found out at the end, here's what makes it worse. Reva, for some reason, is hunting Obi wan Kennobi. We don't know why. Maybe because she feels betrayed. He trained Anakin, and Anakin killed all the kids or whatever. That's possible. But we don't know why. But she set up the plot to kidnap Leia, not because she seems to know that Leia is Anakin's kid. Because she says, Kenobi fought in the war with him, he'll come for the child. Like, how did she learn this? Was Bail Organa, in our real world, yes, Leia's DNA is going to be in some computer bank, just like Luke's is, by the way, and how the Emperor, it's a whole other rant, leave it alone. That's an original Star Wars problem, not this one. So, final thoughts. I want to watch the next episode and give you. Going to work over 20 minutes. If I had not decided to review the whole series ahead of time, this episode would so full of bad writing and whatnot. I would not be watching the follow-ups. Okay. Comment down below if you have any questions for me about this video, this episode, or whatever. Please share your thoughts. Share this video if you enjoyed it. Like if you dislike. Like if you like. Dislike if you dislike. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. My name is Matt. This has been Unbearable 73. Have a nice day. I am out of here.